Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome to a Moss Gets Athletic video. Now, last video I talked about Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. Now, let's talk about this Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. fight. Now, even though they determined that it was a draw, who really won that fight? Like, who really won that fight? Because one thing that I noticed from that fight is that Roy Jones Jr. seemed like he was tired. And that probably, if I was a judge, that would have been one thing that I was paying attention to. Who has more energy right now? Because Mike Tyson, this was my first time ever seeing, like, I've seen like old videos of Mike Tyson boxing and things, but this is my first time like seeing a full boxing match from him. Like, it wasn't like knockout highlights or hard hit highlights. Like, this is my first time actually seeing this man fight. So to see this and to, like, now I have that experience, like my parents or people that had like a chance to either watch him live, like, I never seen him live. Like, that would be kind of cool to see him live and stuff, but I don't really know if that will ever happen. But to be one of the people to like see him fight, just overall, doesn't matter where they're at, to just see him fight. Now I can understand why people was like, ordering his fights, like, cause it was intense. Like, any of those punches, like a lot of those punches was, I felt like that Roy Jones Jr., he prepared hard for this fight. So that's one thing that I have to say about Roy Jones Jr. is that he's a strong dude. That is a strong dude right there. But Mike Tyson, like that, he was hitting him hard. Like, I can tell. I was feeling them hits, and I was like, I don't know about that. But I personally think that Mike Tyson won that fight. Like, I personally just think, because it just seemed like Roy Jones Jr., he just, like, I'll admit, like, Mike Tyson was getting in some clinches himself. You could see that he was getting in some clinches, but it just seemed like Roy was getting a little bit more clinches in. Like, he was, like, going in because he was exhausted. He was winded out. Them body shots can take a toll on you. Like, that's one thing that I paid attention to as fighters. And it was even a previous fight before that where it was before, no, what fight was it? It was before, because there was like two fights. No, there was three fights, I think, that had happened. There was one fight, and then there was another one. I think this dude, I can't, it was a 29-year-old, and then I think the other guy that he was going up against was like, his name was like Ortiz or something. But I can tell that it was one of the previous fights. Like, the guy was like, just like, jabbing, like trying to keep him away and stuff. But he just kept like holding on to that side. But he only would like hit him when he got close with that arm. But for the most part, he kept his arm like right there, and he was not trying to get that like side like hit at all and stuff. So I noticed that, and I was like, oh, he's hurt. His body, like, he got hit a little bit too hard. I'm like, there's like I almost said Vine, but no, there's a TikTok. There's an audio going around. He's like, you hit me a little too hard. I'm like, that's like, I just started thinking of that. And I was like, that definitely was that previous fight. Yeah, that guy, I was like, he did get hit a little bit too hard. But anyways, but no, but no, not Nate Robinson. The previous video, okay? It's just all these different names, but Roy Jones Jr., he's a tough dude. That's one thing that I have to say. Like, to be able to, like, stand in the middle of the ring with Mike Tyson and then go at it all the way. But then that's where, like, it makes you wonder, like, how would this have been if both of these guys was in their prime? Like, if this would have been like years ago, because it's like, I don't know. These guys seem like they kind of did come into the business around the same time. I don't know. It seemed like it could have been a really good fight, but yeah, I've been with it. I like it. It seemed like, this could have been one of those fights that could have happened years ago, and it's like, but I don't know. I don't know. We can only think and analyze, excuse me, how that fight would have been if it was like, if both of these guys was in their prime, like who would have won it and stuff. So anyways, yeah, it's one of those things, man, where it's like, I don't think it should end in the draw. I'll say that right now. I think Mike Tyson won that fight. Many people might disagree with me. I'm okay with that. But I know that there's somebody out there that does agree with me, and they think that Mike Tyson should have won that fight. So that's what I'm going with. Mike Tyson should have won that fight. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for some more sport-related videos. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace.